people you've talked about, you've posted about, you've written about is Wael Al-Qadou, him being hospitalized. He's a Palestinian journalist and the bureau chief of Al Jazeera in Gaza City. What can you tell me about this man?
If Wael Al-Dahdoux wasn't Palestinian, he'd be on the cover of Time magazine right now. He would be the most celebrated journalist in the world. Wael Al-Dahdoux is from Gaza. He has been in Israeli prisons. He has been under Israeli airstrikes. He has seen the worst of the occupation before he's seen the worst of the genocide. While on TV, I mean, and this is insane when you think about it. We have over 100 journalists now, right? That's more than any conflict in history that have been killed. And there is sufficient evidence by international watchdogs that this is intentional, that journalists have been killed intentionally. But then their families. Wael was reporting on TV when an airstrike hits his wife, 2 kids, and a grandchild. He goes to the scene, and he said this, you never expect as a journalist to be the subject of the story. Suddenly, the camera's on him, mourning over his dead wife and kids and grandkid. He's saying, he even says it in Arabic, he says, they're taking it out on our children. They're taking it out on our children. I've heard this from multiple people that have had relatives targeted, that I wish it was me instead. He gets back on camera the same day because he feels a responsibility to continue to cover the lives of the people of Gaza. He understands that his story, as devastating as it is not unique in regards to the people of Gaza, that there are many people whose families have been killed in airstrikes. All 2 million people have been traumatized in some way. And so he gets back on camera, tells the story again. And then he is targeted himself. His arm struck. His cameraman, Samar Abu Daqa, dies in front of him. He bleeds out. Wael watches him bleed out for hours. And while any aid workers try to reach them in the building that they were in, snipers would shoot all of those that were rushing to Samar. So he watches his cameraman, one of his best friends, bleed out to death. Wael goes to the hospital. His arm is wrapped up, gets treatment. He's back on camera the next day. A few weeks later, another child is killed again with his friend in a car. So this was a targeted airstrike. His son is driving, and his son and his best friend are hit in an airstrike. Wael leads the funeral prayer, is back on camera again, and speaks with such dignity, with such compassion. One of the things that always gets to me as a Palestinian, right, and as a Muslim too, is that we are portrayed to be these beasts and savages. Tell me a man that would be put through what Wael was put through and still stand on that pulpit and in front of the world with such dignity, with such grace, continues to tell the story. Wael has become a hero to many of us, and he would be a hero in a world that wasn't anti-Palestinian. And unfortunately, Wael has not only lost his family, he's not only lost much of his own existence, but Wael is part of the greater story of erasure. So even though he's telling the story of the people of Gaza, and he is the story of the people of Gaza, most people will never learn about Wael Al-Dahdoux.